that brought me into my attention was once that Donald Trump said that that thing about global warming didn't exist. So maybe some people have the perception of problems not being exactly problems, but maybe others people perception it's different from what we think. David Navarrete, go ahead.
Yes, miss, situation about some problems for one person and another don't. It's listen to music too loud because when in weekends when I want to go to sleep, my neighborhoods put music so loud and I can't sleep. So I hate that.
Okay, and yes, in that case, maybe it's not a problem for them to have loud music, but for you it is because I mean, maybe I sometimes think, and obviously I'm not against having parties and all that, but sometimes it's the same people that plays music every single weekend or even in the weekdays. I used to have my neighbors that, oh God, it was barely a Tuesday and they will start with their music and their drinks and everything outside. It was like right next to our house. So um, it was very annoying to know that you have to wake up early the next day and that maybe they don't even have probably a job. They don't probably do anything. And they always wake up very late. So that's why they don't think that it is a problem, right? But maybe for us it is because we are in this way of maybe in your case, guys, that you're studying, making homeworks. You just want to get some rest and kind of uh gain energy so you can do a lot of things on the next day. So, yeah, it's all about perspective, right? Excellent example. All right. So, with all this being said, what is the topic that we will be discussing today? What is our topic on today's class? Ismael?
Solving urban problems.
Okay, solving urban problems. Yes. Thank you. Aaron?
Uh, I was about to say the same. Uh, urban problems.
Okay, so maybe looking at solutions for urban problems, right? Excellent. And Ahmad is saying problems and solutions. So we're going to be talking about problems, which we already did yesterday, but now we're going to talk about more onto the solutions of those problems, okay? This is part of unit 6.2. So let's move on. Now, first of all, taking a look into this picture, um, I want to ask you, do you think the paintings make the area look better or worse, and why? So what do you think? Do you think the paintings make the area look better or worse, and why? So let's see, Jonathan, go for it.
Well, uh, I see is it is 50-50 because there is some art that are better, and the other side there is an art like it's the worst.
Okay, so maybe something like graffiti or something. Yes. All right, so yeah, maybe depending the context, right? If it's a painting like this, obviously it looks awesome because it's more like art. But maybe graffiti will not be so so nice of seeing, right? Especially if you have graffiti from the cholos or things like that. All right. Now, if you have your book, please go ahead and close your book. And let's go ahead and focus on the audio. Remember that maybe with this, we can practice a little bit our listening skills. And that way we can be more prepared for our tests. Okay. So let's go ahead and listen to the audio. And one of the things or two things that we're going to pay attention to is first, we're going to pay attention to the three problems that they discuss on the audio. And then the second part will be about the solutions that they give for each one of these problems, okay? So look at for the problems and what the solutions are, okay? Let's go ahead and listen the audio.
Lesson 6.2, page 56. Exercises 1B and 1C.
Today, we're talking trash, along with other community problems. These problems can take a lot of time and money to fix, but sometimes solutions are easier than you think. We asked community members for their ideas. Margot.
Garbage is a big problem, and if there is a lot of garbage in the street, people often leave more trash there. They see garbage and think it's okay to add a little more. But if you keep the area clean, people will think twice before throwing trash on the street.
Josh.
Graffiti makes local business owners angry, but if you make a special area for graffiti, people won't paint on other buildings. Many graffiti artists paint beautifully and can really improve an area.
Frida.
Noise at night is a common problem. When you speak angrily to noisy neighbors, they just keep making noise. But if you talk to them calmly and politely, they'll probably listen. And if you explain your feelings clearly, they will understand.
So, some interesting ideas. They may not work in every community, but some of them just might in yours.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. What are the three problems that they mentioned? And we have Jonathan.
The three main problems are garbage, graffiti, and the noise at night.
Okay. So the noise at night, the actual garbage, and the graffiti, right? Now let's go ahead and say the solutions that they give for each one of these. So what is the first one? What is the solution to the problem with garbage? All right, Aaron.
Keeping the keeping the place clean, and people will think two times about if throwing trash or not.
Excellent. So keeping the areas clean, right? That way they will think twice whether they should or should not do it. All right. Next one, graffiti. What's the solution they propose to graffiti? What is the solution for graffiti? Jonathan.
Search an area for special graffitis.
Search an area for special graffiti, right? Yes, a special area. And what about the noise at night? What about the noise of night? At night, what are the solutions that they give? All right. So speak to the neighbors calm and politely. Excellent. Okay, let's move on then. So here it is the script. I didn't want to show it right away because I feel like we have to develop a little bit our listening skills. But here it is. Now, a very last question about this is, do you think the solutions will work for each one of these problems in regards of what they said? Yes, no, and why? Also, if you can think of any other type of solution that you can give for this type of situations. So what would you say? Can these solutions work? Yes, no, maybe, why? Okay, maybe the solution of keeping the areas clean and special areas for the group could work. Yes, I think those two can work too. Anyone else? Or maybe even another type of solution that you will suggest? And we have Jonathan and then Ismael.
Well, it's very hard to talk with the people. For example, with the garbage case, we can uh, talk with the people. Oh, don't trash, uh, uh, don't put the trash at the street. Okay, this is okay. With graffiti, okay, the artists think is a very idea, but with the noise at night, all those nights, it's very hard because if you have neighbors that listening to buchonas music or reggaeton, is very hard to explain your feelings.
Yes, I don't know. I was thinking that once you were going to give the examples, yes, definitely people with they always play either banda music or reggaeton, right? And it's very hard to take that off. So we will try our best. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Ismael.
I think the solutions are good, but if the people don't put on it, um, they don't gonna work.
That's true. Yeah. Well, it is also very we have to be like on top, right? Maybe try to act prudently, but at the same time, remind them at all times, right? It's something difficult to keep a balance. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with Ismail and Jonathan. At least there can be solutions, but at my perspective, it won't work at least here in Mexico because we don't respect other ones. So if your neighbor is how to say it, likes the music and put it on a very high volume, and if you can even talk to them, hey neighbor, can you lower down your music please? I have a big exam. I have a big exam tomorrow. Or and the answer usually is from they get angry if you talk to them nicely. I don't know if someone pass or sleep something like that.
That's so true. Then the neighborhood wants to fight.
That's agree that it sounds like this. Hey, or I don't want to put my music down. What are you gonna do? You're gonna uh always and always you end in a fight.
Yes, right. It can get to a point where it can be even dangerous for ourselves. And yeah, obviously, and obviously stereotyping it's not good at all. But maybe we can see that if they've been drinking or something, obviously that would not work to that will give them like this chance to fight, right? So that's why we should keep it very politely, right? Maybe try to find ways to like don't to not just come and say, hey, turn off the volume or turn down the volume. I'm sorry. So maybe, um, do you mind turning your volume a little bit down? I don't mean to bother you or anything. Always try to keep like apologies first, so that way they can say, oh, well, he's acting um in a very calm way. But as even on the audio, if you were or even here on the script, you can see that they may not work in every community, but some of them might just might in yours, right? Maybe not all communities can be attentive to this, but maybe there are some others that will be able to come up with the solution of those kind of problems. We never know, right? We never know. We won't say everyone because no, but um that we have a lot of problems around our area, yes we do. All right guys, excellent. Let's go ahead and continue. Now I want to talk to you about something that it's called adverbs of manner. Okay, so adverbs, we know that they are used to, in a way, work with the verb, right? In this case, an adverb of manner, it's an adverb that describes in what way the action of a verb it's carrying out, right? What way are they going to be having that specific verb done, right? So maybe here we have an example. We talked openly about our problems. Here we know that our verb it's talked, right? Now openly it will be our adverb of manner. Why? Because openly it's the way that we are going to be talking about, right? Openly it's like the way, the process, the figure that we're going to be describing in order to describe the verb, right? How it's going to be done. So that's why whenever you get to see the adverbs of manner, you will see an ending of ly, okay? Openly, strongly, slowly, loudly, etc. Now, here we have that openly will be our adverb of manner. However, there would be some occasions in which we will have the adverb already has the ly. So first things first, one of the ways to kind of identify an adverb of manner, it's because they are usually formed with adjectives and then at the end you add an ly. So if you're saying bad, you will say badly. If you say quiet, that's an adjective, well, you would say it quietly. So all you're doing, it's just adding the ly. However, however, we have here that if an adjective already ends in ly, like in the example of friendly, um, friendly, it is being used as an adjective, but we cannot add another ly, right? We cannot say like friendlyly, right? So the way of doing this type of adjective into an adverb of manner, it's just adding a phrase like in a friendly way, right? In order to show that you are talking about an adverb that it's describing what way of the action. So here we have an example that says friendly. She spoke in a friendly way. Okay. One of the things I want, and I shared this, I don't know why I didn't add it to the presentation, but let me send you an example or the difference. How can we tell that it's a little bit different? And I think I don't have it. Oh God, I thought I have it. Let me take a picture of that again so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay. So on the chat, you will be able to see like the examples that I have. So the ways of distinguishing whether they are working as adjectives or as adverbs of manner, it's by looking the position where the word is. If you say something like a friendly person, we know that friendly, it's been used to describe the person, right? To describe the noun. So we have the describing noun and the noun. But whenever we use it as an adverb, we can see that we have the person or the subject, then we have the verb, which is spoke, and then after the verb, it's when we will find the adverb. That's why we are saying that the adverbs are usually describing and the way that the action of the verb is performed, okay? I don't know if you have any questions about how to distinguish this. And obviously, there are some exceptions. Not saying that all of the adjectives will be ending in ly, but this is something or a very common question that we might ask ourselves. So, do we understand this? Thumbs up if we get it. If not, raise your hand if you have questions. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look on some vocabulary about adverbs. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to split these words into words that are positive, words that are negative, and words that are neutral. Okay? Um, the way we're going to be doing it, it's like going through each column, like angrily, then dangerously, then beautifully, then loudly, etc., etc. I'm going to give you maybe 2 minutes for you to kind of order them into the correct category, and then we will share them all together, okay? So 2 minutes, take 2 minutes, and then we will share answers. All right, let's go ahead and talk about which ones goes with which category. We will go 2 by 2. So the first person will be like angrily and dangerously, the second one beautifully and loudly, and then so on and so forth, okay? So first two, Ismael.
Angrily and dangerously, both are negative.
Okay, so yes, both are negative, right? Next one, Aaron. Next two.
Beautifully, it's positive, and loudly is negative.
Okay. So beautifully positive, loudly negative. Yes. And maybe we can add it to the neutral because being loudly can be also neutral. Thank you so much. Alan, next two.
Calmly, negative and neutral, I think, and politely is positive.
Okay. Calmly, it's a more positive, and politely can be positive too. Because I mean, being calm, it's kind of good, no? So excellent. Thank you so much, Alan. Next one, next two, Jonathan.
Okay, I have some answers. For example, clearly can be neutral and positive, and then quietly can be neutral and positive too.
Okay, so clearly and then quietly can be neutral. I, sorry. So yes, it will be neutral. Thank you. And then Wendy, next two.
Completely neutral and safely, I think it's neutral.
Safely. Okay. Yeah, it can be neutral, but also positive, right? To be on the safe side. Excellent. And Pablo, last one.
Correctly can be neutral.
Correctly. Yes, but also positive. We will keep it in a positive. So yeah, maybe many positive ones can be neutral, but at least this is what they have. But yes, okay, let's go ahead and continue. With this one, I want to only get up to number 4. So only 3 of them that we're gonna need. So the first one says, Sandra speaks loudly when she's on the phone. As you can see, we have the verb speaks, and then we have the adverb of manner, loudly, right? What way is Sandra speaking? Well, she's speaking in a loudly way, okay? So next one, number 2. Alan.
Duncan speaks politely even when he is upset.
Yes, excellent. Number 3. Armando.
It's hard to understand it because he doesn't speak clearly.
Excellent. Thank you. And number 4, uh, Ismael.
Mia draws beautifully, but she can't paint at all.
Okay. So beautifully, right? But she can paint it all. All right. So the rest you can do it on your own. That's like a kind of way of practicing a little bit on the adverbs of manner. So we will skip it. Okay. Now, hopefully that adverbs of manner are already clear because we're going to get to more topics on today's session, okay? Next thing that we're gonna work on, it's about conditionals, but first I need to talk to you about what a clause is, okay? So what is a clause? Well, a clause is a group of words that contain a subject and a verb. We can say that a sentence has a clause, but we cannot say like a complete sentence, it's always a clause, okay? But as long as the sentence has a subject and a verb, that's how we're going to know that we are talking about clauses, right? Now, in clauses, we have independent and dependent clauses. So, for example, independent clause means that it actually makes sense when you read the sentence or the clause alone. So, for example, I went to school. However, on dependent clauses, we have that it's for things or sentences that not make sense on its own. What do I mean by that? For example, although I wasn't feeling well, we know that it has a noun, which is I, and wasn't feeling it's kind of the verb, right? So we know that it is a clause because it has a subject and a verb. However, if you read although I wasn't feeling by itself, it doesn't make sense because we still need information from it. So to complement it, we add an independent clause in order for the whole sentence to make sense. Now, in this second example, we can see that there is only one sentence, but with two different clauses, okay? So one clause would be, although I wasn't feeling well, and another clause would be, I went to school. However, the first one is dependent and the second one independent. Questions on that, guys? Questions? Or if everything is clear, thumbs up, please. All right. Okay, let's continue then. So I'm not going to discuss about the phrases, but here I have some sentences in which they have two clauses. However, I need for you to identify the independent clause on the sentences. So who wants to do number one? Or who wants to try it out? Find the independent clause, and then the rest, obviously, it's going to be the dependent clause. So what clause can we find, independent clause can we find on the first sentence? So if you would have to separate this whole sentence into two sections, what sentence would you have to keep like in order to make sense to be the independent clause? So who wants to try it? Number one. Ismael?
The independent clause, it's Fernanda could not catch the bus.
Excellent. Yes. Why? Because if you read it, obviously it makes sense, right? It has a verb, it has a subject, and also makes sense. And then because she was late could be the dependent clause because if you read it by its own, we cannot find like a logic on it, right? So, yes, excellent. Next one, the second one. Who wants to identify the independent clause on number two? Okay, so you must work hard, right? Yes, that will be the independent clause. Thank you. Number 3, Fernando.
I think is I look for careful attention to details.
All right, yes, excellent job. Now you can see that the position of an independent clause doesn't have to be at the beginning, right? We can also find it towards the end of the sentence. So yes, excellent job. Next one, Alan.
Is she will buy the dress.
Okay, so she will buy the dress. Yes. And last one. Thank you so much, Alan. Ismael.
Our streets are full of water.
Okay, so our streets are full of water, right? That's the independent clause. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, let's move on then. Now that we know what a clause is, I'm gonna talk about what conditionals exist, right? So there is something that it's called conditionals, that it's just that, right? They are conditions in order to other things to happen. So I always think about conditionals as if they were our moms. So for example, whenever we want to go to a party and then our mom say something like, if you don't clean your room, you will not go to your party. So there you go. Those are the conditions. Now, there are two different type of conditions. One of them, it's a conditional clause, which is more related to things that are always true, things that are scientifically a fact. So things that we know for sure that they will happen as they say. So here they say, if you heat water at 100 degrees, it boils, right? For sure, it's gonna boil. There's no way that other thing will happen unless that you add something else. However, as you can see, they are using the word if at the beginning. So whenever we see the word if, it's because we know that they are talking about conditionals. However, also the word when can be used for present conditional, meaning for things that are always true or are scientifically a fact, okay? So the structure is like if, then the simple present, which is heat in present, obviously, and then simple present, which is boils in simple present. No change, everything stays on the base form, okay? Then I have an example that says, when you can't sleep, change your position in bed. As you can see, the conditionals are written in present tense, both of them, because they are more about things that are true or that are scientifically a fact. Okay? Now, it can be if, it can be when, or even because, but for now, we're basically focusing on when and if. Another thing that I have to mention, and I don't know if you paid attention to, is that whenever we write the conditionals at the beginning of a sentence, we have to kind of have the comma and then continue with the rest of the sentence. Having a comma will represent that it is a if or a conditional clause, okay? A conditional clause. However, if we actually have the clause towards the end of the sentence, we don't need to add any comma. That only happens if the conditional is at the beginning of the sentence. If the conditional clause, remember? So here it's our comma. Now, another thing that we have to be very attentive is that there is another conditional, but this one it's used for more about possibilities in the present or in the future, okay? So if it's sunny, we will go to the park, right? And we kind of know that it's a possibility, or if it's that it's something about the future, because we are adding the word will. Will always be for the future tense, okay? Or it can be like the example that I mentioned about the mom. If you don't clean your room, you will not go to the party. Even though that we know that moms actually uh are true when they say the conditions that they give us, still it's a possibility. Maybe the mom regrets and even ends up letting go the person, even though that the person did not clean the room. But this is more of possibilities. Remember, with the use of simple present, it is always true and something that will always happen no matter what. But with the conditionals about the future, it is more of a possibility. Things that are not concretely a fact, but it can possibly happen. Okay? Questions on that, guys? Anything, any doubts? Are we getting confused about conditionals, or if everything is good, please put your thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up. And if you have questions, raise your hand. All right. Now, let's go ahead and kind of put together what we talked about clauses and what we talked about conditionals, okay? So, here I have this sentence. If you freeze water, it turns into ice, okay? This is a simple, true fact. Obviously, we know that whenever we freeze water, the result will always scientifically be ice, right? No matter what, it will be only always ice. However, we see that we started the sentence with a conditional, so that's why we have to add a period, a comma, whenever we have our first clause, which is if you freeze waters, and then turns into ice would be another one. So our first clause, we will call it the condition clause, because it is the one that is showing what condition does it need to happen in order to get a result, right? And the other one will be a result clause. Okay? So one will be a condition clause and the other one will be a result clause. Now, what if we change the wording into a different way? You can see, David?
Miss, I just have one question. What is the difference between a clause and a sentence? Because for me, it's the same. It has a subject and a verb.
That's a great question. Yeah, as you can see right here, if you freeze water, it turns into ice. That will be a sentence. It is complete. But you can see that a sentence can actually have two clauses. In this case, a clause, it is if you freeze water. So you have the subject you, and then the verb freeze, which is a verb. So subject and a verb, it's a clause. And then here on the next part, it turns into ice. So it's the subject, and then turns, it's the verb. So there you have another clause. So we can have two clauses in one sentence. A whole sentence, remember that it's the one that has a period at the end and that it obviously has a subject and a verb. But with clauses, all you need to know, or all you need to have, it's a subject and a verb. And we have to be aware, just like in the first example that I provide to you. Let me go back a little bit. Here, I went to school. An independent clause, it's actually a sentence by itself. because we have a verb, we have a subject, we have a period. So an independent clause can actually be named as a sentence as well. However, when we have dependent clauses, in this case we're talking about conditionals, we cannot call that a sentence because uh, a dependent clause doesn't have like this period at the end or like a complete idea. Remember that sentences has to be a complete idea. If not, they're not sentences, they're just either clauses or even phrases. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
And yes, when you say it's a complete idea, that make me more easy to understand it. Thank you.
Yes, okay. And great that you brought that question. Yes, because sometimes with clauses, that's the problem. Maybe we can confuse, well, then why it's not a sentence and why it's called a clause. Remember that a clause can be like a very short segment of a whole sentence. So because it's not complete, it is not considered a sentence. In the case of independent clauses, as I mentioned, they can be also considered sentences, but with the dependent one, since it's not a complete idea, we cannot say that that is an actual sentence. So great question. Great, great. I don't know if anyone has another question. Okay. So I was saying that here we have the condition clause at the beginning, then we have the result at the end. Sometimes we can even have it the other way around, right? As I was telling you, if we don't start with a condition clause, there's no need to have a comma. But if we start with a condition clause, we actually have to have a comma. Now, we can say also, water turns into ice if you freeze it, and it will still be the same idea. However, now we're putting the result clause at the beginning, and at the end, we're putting the condition clause. So either way can work. You can put the condition first, you can put it at the towards the end of the sentence, but they will both still be a clause. The only difference it's about the position, and if you change the position at the beginning, you have to add a comma. Questions on that, guys? Thumbs up if you are getting it, or raise your hand if you have questions. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get some practice. Now you're going to tell me which one is a condition clause, which one will be the result clause. Okay? Number one, if it rains, we will cancel the trip. Ismael.
The condition clause it's if it rains, and the result clause it's we will cancel the trip.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next one. You will pass the exam if you study. Aaron.
The result will pass the exam in the condition clause if you study.
Okay, excellent job. Yes. Next one. If you listen to me, you will understand what I mean. Go ahead, Ismael.
The condition is if you listen to me, and the result is you will understand what I mean.
Condition and result, right? Yes. Next one. If you are tired. Pablo.
The condition clause is if you are tired, and the result clause is you go to the bed early.
Excellent. Yes. Last one. If you get old early. Oh, you get old early, I'm sorry, if you smoke. What would it be? Alan?
Uh, you get old early is the result clause, and the rest, if you smoke, is the condition clause.
Yes, excellent. Now, thank you so much. I think that we are kind of getting the hang of what a condition clause is, and then maybe we know that whenever they're future, it's about possibilities, things that can possibly happen. If we have simple present, we know that it's for things that are a fact, right? Something for sure that you have or need to do. Let's go to this kind of wrap up on the book that they have. So present real conditionals, it's usually a result of a present situation, and we generally describe something that it's a true, that it's a fact, or it's a habit, right? Don't forget, it is the if plus the simple present plus the simple present. Now with future real conditionals, it shows like a possible future situation. So we have the structure is if plus the simple present whenever we talk about the condition clause, and then the result clause will be in future, adding the word will, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and complete some grammar, okay? So number one, who wants to tell us about the grammar for present real conditionals? So for present real conditionals, do we use simple present or simple past for the condition and result? Ismael.
For present real conditionals, use the simple present for the condition and the result.
Excellent. Yes. Now, what about the future real conditionals? What about the future? What tense do we use for the condition and what tense do we use for the result? So what tense do we use for the future real conditional? So what tense do we use for the condition and what tense do we use for the result? And I just said it like less than 5 minutes ago. Okay, Ismael?
For future real conditionals, use the simple present for the condition and will for the result.
Yes, excellent. Don't forget that. The condition will always, 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 and I will say this always a lot of time because we will always have it in the simple present. However, if we're talking about possibilities, it's going to be written in a future tense with the word will, okay? All right, guys. Any doubts on anything so far? All good? I'm asking this every second because I feel like I don't want to confuse you or make you feel like this is something very difficult. Also, that is feedback for myself, guys. So if no questions, let's go ahead and make some sentences of our own, okay? So we're going to complete sentences with our opinion. We're going to use the simple present or the future using will, okay? So for present situations, and then we have something for future situations, okay? Depending, remember that for this ones, we used obviously only simple present, and for the future situations, we will use the word will, okay? All right, so why don't you go ahead and work on your own sentences that are true about you? And this is all about uh, urban problems or problems in general from our communities or neighbors. So let's go ahead and do this with your own ideas and then share them on the chat so I can have them as participation, okay? I'll give you maybe 5 minutes to work on this. All right. So I have the first one. If people trash, they will cause more pollution and contamination. Yes. If people talk, when people talk loudly, they could disturb other people. Yes. People who I don't, with people I don't know, who I respect a lot. Excellent. The customers will complain. I won't listen to you if you scream to me. Yeah. If I don't do exercise correct, I could hurt myself. Excellent. And maybe instead of could, I will, just for the purpose of being future, but great job, Ismail. Thank you.
Miss, we have to post the sentence or we can talk or say it.
If you want to post them to take it as participation, yes. But if you want to say them on the mic, you can do so.
Okay, I'm gonna say the cat. My phone is too slow, I don't know why. So the first one.
Okay.
If people throw trash in the street looks dirty. When people talk loudly, it's usually because they are angry. I speak politely when I meet new people, if they are politely as well. If a store clerk speaks angry, I will go home. I won't listen to you if you will get so mad at me. If I don't do the exercise correctly, I don't know what am I gonna do.
Okay. But yeah, you did it correctly. So, okay. Thank you so much. I got your participation. And then we have Jonathan that says, if people throw trash in the crowd, they're punished with community service. Yeah, they should do that. When people talk loudly, I'll get remember that the first part it was only with simple present, a story that I made. Excellent. If a story, I'll get out of here. I won't listen to you if only push me. Excellent. I won't tell the subject. If I don't do the exercise correctly, I won't pass the subject. Okay. But you will. Don't worry about it. All right. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go with Octavio. If people throw trash in the street, the street will be dirtier. Okay. You can concentrate. Okay. When I'm with people that I don't know. Okay. You're missing the other three, Octavio. All right. And then we have Aaron. If people throw trash in the street, more and more people will do the same thing. Okay. When people talk loudly, usually things turn worse. Okay. I speak politely when someone do the same. If a closer angry, don't lose control, stay calm. I won't listen if you don't calm down and talk about it. Yes, and if I don't do exercise, I will get hurt and fall maybe, right? You meant fall? All right. I'm just going to check the last one and then I will tell you the last thing to do. Okay? Um People throw trash in the street, they will cause more contamination. When people talk loudly, they will get violent, yes. Speak politely. I'm with people who respect me. Okay. Yes. Definitely. And then if a store is angry, the customers will get nervous. Yes, that's true. If I won't listen to you if you get rude. That's true. And if I don't do the exercise, I will get injured. All right. Thank you so much, Omar. Excellent. Okay, guys. So I will continue reading your sentences. However, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do last, okay? The last thing to do is to make a video, okay? What do I want for you to do in the video? Well, talking about the urban problems and solutions, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about one problem in your community or in the world, whatever you want to choose, and then add a solution. However, you have to use either present or future conditionals, okay? Using if or when. So try to use it as much as possible and try to elaborate your answer, okay? Don't be like, the problem is trash, and then all we do is just put the trash in a trash can and that's it. No, let's try to be a little bit more elaborated on our answer. Try to even add conditionals on your responses for the solutions, and then make a video that lasts at least 15 to 20 seconds. Obviously, you can do more, but at least I want for you 15 to 20 seconds, okay? Just make a video of yourself talking about this problem and solution. Try to also do not repeat the problems. Try to think about different ones. Don't stick always with the same ones. Here they have an example like the problem is pollution, right? People have the problem is pollution. Maybe you can give a little bit of context. Here in our city, Ciudad Juarez, we have a lot of people living here, a lot of people using cars, etc., etc. So the solution that I propose is to do this and this and that, right? But using conditionals if possible, okay? And then the solution that they have is people have to use bikes or electric cars, okay? So come up with your own problem, come up with your own solution as well. Try to add conditionals on these responses and make this video, turn it in. I'm gonna be opening an assignment on the assignments on Teams, so you can upload the video there. That way you don't have to worry about people seeing you. Maybe you might feel a little bit shy on doing that. So the only person that will see that video will be me, okay? So don't worry. Also, this can be a good practice because I'm thinking that the second evaluation will be with our cameras on, okay? So I just want for you to kind of get a little bit more comfortable the way of using cameras and at the same time talking in English. I think that will be a great challenge for you guys. So I will leave this assignment open until Thursday. You can complete it until Thursday, okay? Still, I'm gonna be looking at the people who have turned it in and who have not, because there will be some penalization if you don't turn it in, okay? So make sure that you make your video. It's a short video. It's about something that we already know and we've been discussing, so just make it as a video. Any questions on the assignment?
Yes, miss. Until what time we have to send it?
We have until Thursday before 11:59. So basically you will have today, tomorrow, and Thursday to turn it in.
The video? This video?
Yes, because I mean it's 2:37. I don't know if you are able to finish it right now. In case that you're not, you can turn it in on this next days. And I'm giving a lot of time because I know that making videos for some of us can be like, I have to record myself like 1,000 times and then select one that will work for me. So yes, if you want to turn it in today, that will be perfect. You don't have to worry about, but I will leave it open until Thursday.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. So yes, I don't know if you have other questions.
Yes, teacher. We have just to confirm, we have to turn on the camera, right?
Yes, actually, you have to be on the video. You're gonna be talking to the camera, but on the video I have to see you talking about the problem. Also, another thing, since I'm giving you more time to turn it in, I expect from you to not be only reading from your notes. Try to be in front of the camera, like if you were a YouTuber, like if you were talking about this problem in our city that really, um, it's really usual or very common to have it. And I want for you to be, to look more like if you are bringing these things from your mind than just from reading it from um, a sheet of paper, okay? So make sure that you don't seem like you're reading it. Try to leave it as you are the one talking and having this spontaneous ideas, okay? But yes, you have to be on the video. Any other questions? Okay, so why don't we just finish the call now? Go ahead and wrap up the class and tell me something that you learned today so I can dismiss you from the call, guys. What is something that we will remember from today's class? And we have David.
Today I learned the difference between a clause and a sentence.
Okay, excellent. And maybe when they are independent clauses, they can be the same as a sentence. All right, thank you. Aaron.
About the conditionals.
About conditionals, right? Yes. Excellent. Jonathan.
The adverbs of manner.
Adverbs of manner, right? They are adjectives with the ending of ly. So, yes. Thank you. And then the type of conditions, right? It can be present, it can be for future real conditionals. All right. Excellent. So I think that'll be all for today. You are free to disconnect from the call, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a good day and see you tomorrow, guys.
Thank you, Miss. See you later.
Thank you,
See you
Miss.
later.
See you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye. See you. Bye bye. Take care. See you tomorrow, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.